Welcome to the online public involvement meeting for Project Design ID 59440404, Construction ID 59440474, along Wisconsin Highway 81 between Wisconsin Highway 23 and Wildcat Road in Lafayette County. This is a list of people who are working on this project. The contact information will be on the last slide of this presentation, which will include their emails and phone numbers, as well as the address of the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Southwest Region Office in Madison. Feel free to contact them with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this project. The presentation will follow the outline shown here. First, discussing the project limits. Second, the purpose and need of the project. Third, the proposed design improvements. Fourth, the activities that have been completed thus far. Fifth, the next activities in the schedule. And finally, ending with contact information. The proposed project begins at the Wisconsin Highway 23 and Wisconsin Highway 81 intersection and heads east for 1.2 miles to the Wildcat Road and Wisconsin Highway 81 intersection. The anticipated construction for Wisconsin Highway 81 is currently scheduled to begin in 2026, with possible advancement of 1 or 2 years. During construction, Wisconsin Highway 81 will be open to two-way traffic. Shoulder closures will be needed for pedestrian curb ramp and guardrail improvements. Milling and paving operations will utilize one lane of traffic in each direction with flaggers. Motorists can expect to encounter flagging operations one city block at a time in the urban portion of the project, and in the rural portion of the project, flagging operations will take place between Arthur Street and Wildcat Road. There will be short periods of time when construction operations are occurring directly in front of the driveways. During these short periods of time, the property owner will need to park on a side street or use a secondary driveway if they have one. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation will contact homeowners and businesses in advance before closing a driveway. One reason for the project is safety concerns. A safety concern for this project is the existing guardrail and guardrail end terminals. Some of the existing guardrail is substandard and has end terminals like the photo on the right. The existing guardrail will be replaced as necessary, and the existing guardrail end terminals will be replaced with the energy absorbing terminals shown in the photo on the left, which are standard on all WIS projects now. The energy absorbing terminals have proven to be safer in crash testing if a vehicle happens to leave the travel way and strike the end of the guardrail section. Another reason we need the project is the pavement deterioration along Wisconsin Highway 81. The current pavement is deteriorating and has extensive cracking and rutting. Existing shoulder pavement is unraveling, with large chunks of pavement removed in various areas. This pavement deterioration not only looks bad, but also causes Wisconsin Highway 81 to have poor ride quality and presents safety concerns. Another reason we need this project is the curb ramps located in the city of Darlington are not up to Americans with Disabilities Act standards. The photo on the left is of a curb ramp at the Wells Street intersection, and the photo on the right is of a curb ramp at the Arthur Street intersection. These photos highlight the inadequacy of the curb ramps along Wisconsin Highway 81. The next collection of slides will explain the proposed improvements and show the typical sections of Wisconsin Highway 81. The typical sections for the project are broken into an urban typical section, shown on this slide, and two rural typical sections, shown on the next slide. The urban typical section is for the portion of Wisconsin Highway 81 located in the city of Darlington. As previously mentioned, the pavement will be milled to a depth of 4 inches and paved back with a depth of 4 inches. The limits for paving in the urban sections will be the existing curb and gutter, which will remain in place. The rural sections of Wisconsin Highway 81 are located outside the limits of the city of Darlington and are broken up into roadway with guardrail and roadway without guardrail. In these sections, the pavement will be milled to a depth of 4 inches and paved back with a depth of 4 inches. There will also be new shoulder aggregate and new center line rumble strips. Additionally, substandard guardrail and guardrail end terminals will be replaced with safer end terminals called energy absorbing terminals. Next, I'll discuss the curb ramp improvements along the project. The locations of the curb ramps that are proposed to be improved to meet Americans with Disabilities Act standards to maximum extent possible are at the following intersections: Wells Street, Keep Street, Ohio Street, Division Street, Clay Street, East Street, and Arthur Street. The curb ramp improvements will also consist of reconfiguring the intersection crosswalks at some locations. At the Wells Street intersection, the existing curb ramps will be updated to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Some of the crosswalks will be reconfigured to cross the roadway in a safer location. The red lines show the crosswalk locations that will be relocated. The proposed curb ramp construction in the southwest quadrant of the intersection is located within the Main Street Historic District. The curb ramp improvements are anticipated to take place within the existing right-of-way and not adversely affect the historical property. At the Keep Street intersection, the existing curb ramps will be updated to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. New crosswalks will be installed crossing Wisconsin Highway 81. The red lines show the proposed crosswalk locations. At the Ohio Street intersection, the existing curb ramps will be updated to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Some of the crosswalks will be reconfigured to cross the roadway in a safer location. The red lines show the crosswalk locations that will be relocated. At the Division Street intersection, the existing curb ramps will be updated to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. A new crosswalk will be installed crossing Wisconsin Highway 81 on the east side of the intersection. The red line shows the new proposed crosswalk location. At the Clay Street intersection, the existing curb ramps will be updated to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. The Wisconsin Highway 81 crosswalk on the west side of the intersection will be reconfigured to cross the roadway in a safer location. The red line shows the crosswalk location that will be relocated. The Wisconsin Highway 81 crosswalk on the east side of the intersection will be removed as there is no receiving ADA compliant curb ramp and only a driveway. At the East Street intersection, the existing curb ramps will be updated to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Curb ramp locations will be moved closer to the back of curb to minimize impacts and line up across from each other. At the Arthur Street intersection, the existing curb ramps will be updated to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. This intersection has utilities and storm sewer structures to work around, making the curb ramp improvements challenging. What activities have been completed thus far for the project? At the end of 2019, the survey for the project was completed. In 2020, initial coordination letters were sent on January 30th, 2020. Soils testing was completed in April 2020. A Phase 1 historical survey was completed in the city of Darlington, and the draft environmental report was started this spring for the project. As mentioned, the work on the environmental report has begun, and the report is anticipated to be signed this November. The right-of-way plat is anticipated to be done by May of 2021, and the real estate acquisition will start once the right-of-way plat is complete. Right-of-way is needed at the curb ramp locations and near guardrail construction to blend the slopes, not the entire project. Most of the right-of-way needs include temporary limited easements with some spot locations requiring minimal permanent right-of-way. The plans for the project are currently scheduled to be finalized by August of 2025, and construction is anticipated to begin the next summer of 2026, with possible advancement of 1 or 2 years. Thank you for taking time to watch this presentation. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about this project, please send us an email, give us a call, or send us mail to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Southwest Region Office in Madison. The list of people who are working on this project and their contact information will be displayed on the next slide. Thank you for your time and have a great day.